Hello everybody, this is Mystic Jen. Again, we are here on Halloween, and I wanted to bring about a special video and talk about the Ouija board. There are so many people out there on Halloween, they want to get a cheap thrill and working with an Ouija board. Others want some serious spirit communications. And that's what this video is about, okay? Because the Ouija board is not something to play with. It is something to enhance your life. It is something to connect with your spirit guides. It's something to connect with loved ones. But it's all in the matter of how you use it, okay? And so I'm going to show you how I've used it. I've never had a bad experience with any of my boards. And this one is a new one that I just gotten. The last one I was working with, it was a glow-in-the-dark one. And this one, it's just instant connection. I have this is like my stone that gets ice cold because it deflects off and dispenses any negative energies. And in preparation for this video, I've had this stone on it. I've already used this board once today, and I had the most positive energy, but I'll get into that later, okay? First of all, what I want to say is preparing your space. That is very important. And preparing your mind frame. Okay, I'm going to go over how to exactly use this. Okay, number one, you do not want to approach it with fear. If you have any fear or any anxieties or nervous, put the board away. Okay, you don't want to use it when you're in those frame of minds. If you're depressed, Joey just broke up with me, and you're crying, and do not touch the board. Do not go to the board for support, because the energy that you put out is what you're going to attract in. If you're putting out energy that is, if you're depressed, you're going to get a depressed energy, and you're going to end up feeling worse. If you're angry or whatever, that's what you're going to attract. But if you need to approach the board in a very calm, very grounded. If you're calm, grounded, your soul is filled with light and positive energy, that is what you're going to bring back in. Okay? That's the first thing. Okay? And I have a candle lit here. It's almost ready to go out, but no big deal. I'll just put another one in there. A candle's not necessary. All that the candle does is set the mood. You can hear music in the background. That is only for setting the mood. Okay? It's not necessary. Okay? But the board is like anything else. It's no different than a deck of playing cards or tarot cards. Okay? You're channeling an energy. And you're getting messages. Whether it's intuitive messages through the cards or through the board. The board is like automatic writing in a way. But I know I'm jumping ahead of myself. Anyhow, you want to prepare your space. I have a lot of white feathers, and they're not store-bought. Nobody else has touched these feathers but my hands, my energy. These were I got these out in nature. These actually are seagull feathers from the ocean. When I was at the beach, okay? And white represents the light and angelic protection. Okay? And they're from nature. They weren't from a store, so there's nobody else's energy in this. And being from the ocean, I feel I'm not a water sign, but my Venus is in a water sign. I have a Pisces Venus, okay? But, and Pisces is represented by the two fish. So, and I just have this deep connection with the ocean. And it's amazing. But water is connected with the emotions. Water is connected with, it's your spirit. It's the element of water is like spirit, intuition, not just emotions. Okay? I also have a very large, has grays and blacks and white in it. I have a couple that are like that. These colors represent the banishing of negative energies and bringing in the light. So it's getting rid of negativity and bringing in positivity. In addition to that, I have a lot of crystals. Clear quartz crystals. I have one that I usually wear around my neck. And that was given to me. This was given to me. Some of my crystals were given to me. You know, and offering. Here's a clear quartz. This is the offer protection. Clear quartz is good for just about anything. It's the, you know, it's compared to flour. You have cake flour, you have bread flour, this flour, that flour. But then you have your all-purpose flour. It's good for just about anything. That's what clear quartz is in the metaphysical world. And I've been keeping this one sitting on my board for a while. Okay? So, you prepare your space. And in case anything goes wrong, I have my cauldron here. Have some sage around. I still have to replace my sand because I've got some beach sand I actually want to put in there. But you could burn some sage. And I will actually do that in a moment. Okay? I'm actually going to burn some. Okay? The burning of the sage gets rid of any kind of negativity as well. And offers another level of protection. Okay. Now, on to the second phase. Okay. There are multiple boards. Okay. This is your traditional Ouija board. I got this at Barnes & Noble. Okay. And the moment that I opened this, the first words out of my mouth were, "You are so beautiful." I just felt this beautiful energy from this. Okay. And I've been caressing this board. And what that does for me is it puts my energy into it. Okay? And I caress it with love. And when I do that, the love is being absorbed. Okay? And it's going to attract love. I have another board also that I have used. First of all, a Ouija it's a symbol, but it's a name brand, okay? Before the name Ouija came about, these boards were out. They've been known as called as witches boards, spirit talking boards, to name a couple of them, okay? No different than this. This is called the psychic circle. Okay. It is a talking board or spirit board. Angelic board. Some people may call them an angelic board. Okay. Regardless whether it's this board was made, I'm trying to remember their names. Sorry, maybe I'll amend the description in this. But the people that made this board made the Enchanted Tarot, and which I have the Enchanted Tarot. I've used the Enchanted Tarot in combination with this board also to get messages. I do that a lot. I'll use multiple tools. With my board, I may pull out my tarot cards as well. Okay, to get additional messages. And there's different plashes. This one, that one I just brought out came with a round one. This one has a normal plachette. Okay, now what comes with the ones that you buy on it, this particular one, Parker Brothers or whatever, it comes with a plastic one. Now I heard one YouTube user say, plastic's no good, it doesn't conduct energy very well. I've had no problems with it. I don't think that matters. And they're insisting, well, you need to go buy a wooden plachette or whatever. I don't think that matters because the plachette's not the conductor of the energy. When you're connecting with an entity or a spirit, an angel, a deity, or even your higher self, sometimes you're not going to connect with a spirit. Sometimes you're actually going to connect with your higher self. Or you might connect with your spirit guides. It's not the plachette that conducts the energy. It's you. It's your hands. Okay? The spirit's not actually moving the plachette itself. You are. But it's a sensation in your hands. You feel the pull and your hands goes with it. It's like the energy comes through your hands and out your fingertips to move the plachette. Okay? That's how that works. And like I said, you want to connect with energies of the light. My session I had today was actually with Source. It kept on calling itself the sun. The sun is the dominant, is the highest source. The highest source of light is the sun. And what I was getting is I was connecting with Source. And I was connecting with the collective of the beings of light. There were multiple beings of light that were all connecting with me earlier today. The messages that I received, I'm not going to share them all because they were personal. Okay? But I could share a few things later on in this video. But what I've done is, I know that the plachette, when you close your board, you should store the plachette separate from the board. And I do that. And because wood is such a conductor, I have this old wooden box. Okay, this is from World War I. That I had gotten from an estate sale. And that's where I store my plachette. See, it is definitely plastic. But it doesn't matter. Because it doesn't matter what you use. You can use a shot glass. It doesn't matter. Okay? But I will say this. Okay, it doesn't really matter. It's your intent. It's you. And see, I'm not going to conduct a session here. I'm just going to give instructions. I've already set the intention with the spirits that we're not having a session. There is no session. I'm not inviting any spirits, not my guides or anybody. My guides are near me and they're telling me how to explain the board. Okay? Now, the board has gotten a very bad rap because of Hollywood. That's where all the fear has come from. Hollywood is where I blame Hollywood for the fear in the board. Okay? Now, before you start your session, you do want to infuse it. And also, when I say this also, if you have anybody else with you that's going to use the board, sorry, I have this persistent cough past week or so. Anyhow, anybody's going to use it, you have to make sure that they're in the right mind frame also. If there's any fear, any anxiety, any negativity about them, they should not be attending. You should tell them that maybe this is not a good day for you to participate and work with the board with me. A lot of practitioners, like back in the day, they said, oh, you can't use the board by yourself. That's hogwash. And I'm using the word hogwash because that term was used to me last night when I wasn't using the board, but I was channeling last night. And certain things, I'm not going to go into that either. It was actually about channeling and about certain things that people portray that Spirit kept saying, hogwash, hogwash, But with that said, that just came out of my mouth, hogwash, right? But anyhow, once you set your space, if you're going to light candles, light your candles, play soft music. You can have bright lights, like I have bright lights on right now, mainly for video's sake, so it's not so dark, so you could see what's going on. But it doesn't matter. You can have your lights on. It could be broad daylight. It could be at night, just by candlelight, or very dim lights. It doesn't matter. Dimming the lights is only about setting mood. Okay? And usually, if the lights are dimmed, your spirit's calmer. It's like your body's going into a more calmer state. Okay? And when you approach the board, you want to approach it with reverence, with respect. Okay? You want to say an opening prayer. I highly recommend this. Some people don't do this. I do. You want to set a prayer saying that that you're sitting here, as you sit there with your board, with your spirit, that you're only want to speak to those spirits of the light, those spirits that have nothing but your highest good in mind, and that you approach them with light and love and ask for honest and truthful answers, honest and truthful communication. Okay? And then I light my candles. Sometimes it depends. I'm doing this for you guys right now, but I quite often will go ahead and light my sage. Now, be forewarned, you're going to smell like you were smoking pot in here or something, in your room or something. Sage has an odor about it. And I will burn my sage and cleanse my space, not allowing any negative energy or entities. Only allow in those beings of the light that have my greatest good in mind. And I'll burn my sage. Okay? And you just place it in the center there. You put both fingers. I'm not doing this because I'm not conducting a session. Because I don't really want to invite spirits in at this time. I just want to show you about the board. Put like 2 fingers from both hands on there. You want to put it very lightly, very light touch. And introduce yourself. And you could try to call out to somebody you want to speak with, whether it's Aunt Mary, or maybe you want to speak with Archangel Ariel, or some other ascended master. Maybe you want to speak to Moses. Maybe you want Source, the collective, or you may call out your spirit guides. Usually they'll come up to be yes or something like that. Sometimes they may spell out hello. This board does not actually have a hello on it. So when my guides come in, they usually go to the sun because they are beings of the light. Okay? They'll come up to the sun. Okay? And I put it back in the middle of the board. I asked, like this last session I had today, I asked for their name, and they went right to the sun. And you'll notice this when you're working with the board. Sometimes you'll have intuitive messages come to you. Thoughts will come into your head, and then when it said the sun, and the first thing that came to me was the collective. Okay? The collective beings of the light. And it confirmed it and went to yes. And it went back to the sun, and I heard, I am the highest light source. And so that told me I was speaking directly to Source, and it was the collective of beings of the light. Spirit guides, angels, archangels, guardian angels. Spirits for my better good. I was speaking to a collective. And the personal questions that I asked them all made sense. One of the questions I asked them, the answer they gave me is not what I wanted to hear, but it's what I needed to hear. And when they gave me that answer, I just made a comment. I said, I guess I need to face reality. And it went straight to yes. So, these boards can be amazing. I had just gotten a phone call come through, and of course it's one of them pre-recorded marketing things saying, oh, we are the premier television networking in your area. We have so many channels for such, and we're running a special, go away. Anyhow, I keep a notebook. Okay. Don't want to get a close-up of any of the, let's see. Okay, this I can show you because I was using my other board last night. There was nothing personal on this, but I just made some notes and then made some sense, and I'm putting these in a journal. Okay, and so that other page you saw that I actually had. Well, here is like a closing prayer, an opening prayer. Okay, and then I had some notes from my session this afternoon. But what I will do is, if it's spelling something out, I'll keep one of my hands connected to the planchette, if at all possible, and write down each letter. Sometimes you will find out you be aware of slang, shortcuts, word through. going through a door. I'll use that as a primary. They may do THRU. You know, there could be shortcuts. Okay? I got a DC for something that I've yet to figure out. Initials DC. That could be somebody in my life or somebody coming in my life. Just saying. But there's... So and then what I'll do is I will go back, look at that. I am keeping a digital journal. Actually, in the cloud, you know, on my OneDrive, and where I can access it from my computer or wherever if I need to add to it. Okay. Now, some things you got to realize. Okay, something negative comes through, or if you feel uneasy or uncomfortable at any time, end the session. Okay? Tell it you are in control, not the entity. Okay? Not the spirit. You are in control. With that said, you end the session, turn the board upside down and say, okay, we're done. This is over. Go away. You know? And you command it. You've got the power. Okay? But traditionally, when you're done and you've contacted and you've got some really good information, some uplifting information, which is another thing I want to bring up too. Until you get to know your spirits, spirits are just like people. They can lie. I'm telling you now, they can lie. Or they may not know the answer exactly, but they'll try to answer. The answers you get, take with a grain of salt. Record them in a journal, and then refer back to see if they are correct. Okay? But when you get to know your spirit and get to connecting and you practice, your answers that you're going to get are going to be more and more on point. Okay? Now, with that said, when you first start out, you can get a bunch of gibberish. I got DC. That might have been just gibberish. But you might get all mixed up letters and stuff that makes absolutely no sense. That's because the spirit has to practice just like you do. Okay? You're new to the board. The spirit is new to your board. Spirit has to learn where everything is. Spirit has to learn the energy of your board as well, and how to connect to you for your highest good. So at first you could get gibberish. Okay? Just kind of like a bad signal. You like a good example on a cell phone. You're talking to somebody, the signal's not very good, and it's choppy, and sometimes it might even sound like Morse code. You know, I use that term a lot when I'm talking to certain people and say, you sound like Morse code. Can you repeat that? And it's okay also if you get something that you don't understand. And you can say, I don't quite understand. Can you rephrase that? Can you try again? Okay, that's okay. These are just some little pointers here. And it's about being patient. And when you're first starting out, it's going to be draining because the entity or the spirit is using your energy to conduct the session. You're going to feel fatigued. You could drink some orange juice and stuff like that when you're done. When you first start out, try not to conduct long sessions. My first session this morning with this particular board was 15 minutes. 15 minutes seems to be a good starting point. 15-minute sessions. Don't try to have 100 questions answered at one sitting. Okay? And when you get tired and fatigued, you leave yourself open for things that maybe you don't want. Okay? You have to be alert. You have to keep your vibrations high. You want to vibrate at the highest level as you can to bring in high vibrational energy. When you first start out, this is why I said also, spirits can lie. Spirits may not know, certain spirits might not know everything. They take their best guess. Okay? It's because when you're first starting out, if you're inexperienced, you might get that lower dimension, that lower level energy, that lower level spirit. And as you progress and raise your vibrations through the dimensions, you get some higher vibrational energies. Okay. Oh, I know this is a lot. This is a long video, but just stay with me. The other important thing that I need to stress about is about closing the board. Number one, never leave the board open unattended. Never leave your planchette on the board, your board upright, and walk away and go out of the room, because this board is a portal. I'm leaving it here right now because I haven't invited any entities to talk or to the board. Okay? All that it is right now is a piece of cardboard, a piece of wood, and a piece of plastic. Okay? That's because I'm not communicating with any entities. Through the board, that is. I'm getting messages coming through me outside the board, but I'm not communicating using the board right now. Okay? But when you're done with your session, you have to close it properly. You say a prayer. You thank the energy. You thank the spirit or the angel or whomever you are communicating with. Thank them from the bottom of your heart and thank them from within the depths of your soul. You tell them, thank you so much for coming and speaking with me today. And thank you for delivering the messages that I needed to hear. But at this moment, it is time to say goodbye until the next time we meet. You must depart now, and we will meet up at another time. And then after you do that, you can, if you want, if you're comfortable, burn some more sage. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I simply take my planchette, put it back in its box. I take the board, turn it upside down. This is why you saw my board upside down earlier, because I turned it upside down to close it. I put one of my this is my strongest crystal that I have, and I put it on there. It deflects any negativity, doesn't let anything back in, and it doesn't allow anything to stay. And sometimes I'll put my feather over it because it does not allow anything to stay. And I'll leave it there for a little bit. You don't have to. Sometimes I do. And then I'll wait a couple minutes and I'll take my board, leaving it upside down, and I'll put it away upside down. Other people may have other rituals or other ways that they deal with closing their board. This is mine, okay? And I keep my planchette in a wooden box, as I had shown you. And you thank the spirits, and then you replenish yourself, okay? There's some other little tips. When you're talking, if you're feeling fatigued, you could have some kind of juice, some kind of orange juice, even caffeine, I'm just saying. But you want some kind of fuel. Juices are best. That's from what I understand. Orange juice, apple juice, apple cider, some kind of juice. Not necessarily a carbonated drink. You can even have water. But for replenishing energy, I like juices. And you can even use the juice as an offering. If you're feeling fatigued, sometimes instead of taking all of your energy, you can take some energy from the juice or your offering that you have on your table. You can even ask your spirit guide or angel or whomever you're speaking with, what kind of offering do you prefer? If they were an entity that used to be on Earth, when they're on Earth, maybe they loved orange juice with extra pulp in it. They'll tell you. They will tell you. Or maybe they just like orange juice, no pulp. Or maybe they were apple cider nut. Maybe they were a grape juice nut. They will tell you. They may even just come out and say, give me some caffeine, honey. Maybe not those exact words, but You get my drift. But those are some tips for if you get the fatigue feeling. And if you start feeling tired and nothing's helping, somebody just tapped me on the head. I believe it was probably a spirit, just kind of tapped me on the top of my head. If you're feeling fatigued and tired, then end your session. Please do. And you could tell a spirit, again, thanking them and saying, well, I am tired now. I'm starting to get fatigued. We have to end this session. And make sure you run the flesh. This is the other thing I wanted to say. When you're closing your board and you're telling them it's time to go, if many times, most of the time, the spirit I'm working with will take me and go across goodbye on its own. Sometimes I have to manually take the planchette and move it to goodbye. I'm telling it, goodbye, it's time to go. You must leave now. I do thank you for being here and spending this sacred time with me. And turn your board over. Some people take some salt. Some insist on sea salt. Sea salt's probably the best, but salt is salt. If you have table salt, you could sprinkle some table salt on it. These are some things that other people do. Not necessary. It's all part of a ritual. Okay? But this is what I have on with talking boards. Whether it's a Ouija, and a Ouija board is just a name brand. Okay? What it basically is, it's a spirit communication tool. Just like the tarot. My runes aren't handy, but just like the runes. A pendulum, whatever. It's a tool. And should be treated with respect. Just like you treat your cards with respect, treat your board with respect. And you will get that respect back in return. And I will say with my communications, I think I've mentioned this in 2 other videos, or maybe it's just my daily, but I did get the message. And remember this: your consciousness is limited only by you. Okay, and that's what I have. I do thank you for tuning in for this special edition, and I felt like Halloween was perfect because today is the day when the veil between the physical dimension and the spiritual realm is at its thinnest. And I bless you all. Blessed be. And good luck. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to comment below. And I would appreciate comments if you would like to see me actually conducting sessions using the board. I will do that. Okay? Maybe I'll have some future videos where you can leave a comment and ask a question and I can have it answered by the board. But we'll see. We'll see how much interest I get from this video and how many people show an interest in learning more about channeling using a spirit talking board. That's it. And I thank you for watching. Please share my videos. Like it. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. And I will talk to you next time.